Okay, we're filming now.
Okay.
So,
Hello.
hey. Welcome everyone. My name is Marissa Lauren and I am the host here for the Havens Diaries. And today we have Allie.
Hello.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about your journey into dance and what that all entails.
Yes.
We'll cut out the weird shit.
Yes, please.
Nobody panic. Episode 2, The Power of Movement.
Ooh.
What dance means to us.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, a couple questions for you, but start us off. So, tell us about your dance journey.
Okay, so like a lot of people at the studio, I was a studio rat growing up.
A studio rat. Wow.
I lived in the studio. I actually started out with, most people probably don't know, it's called Highland dancing. It's from Scotland. So
Yes.
so that's what I started out in. As I grew up, I went into like the typical tap, jazz, ballet, all that stuff as well. But Highland was kind of always like my number one, my go-to, which is obviously very different than the heels dancing that I do today.
Yeah.
And when I hit high school, I actually got hired by like a dance troupe and I toured around North America, things like that. When I was 14, I lived in Scotland for a summer dancing. So I had like a lot of success with dancing and traveling, and I had a work visa for a while to the States. It was like my dream. And then when I hit the end of high school, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? I had my daughter in 2021, and I mean, having a kid is like amazing, but I found you kind of like lose yourself a little bit. You're like, who am I as a mom? Like all I do is have this baby 24/7 and I don't do anything for me. And just one night, it was like randomly, I'm like, I think I should try to see if there's like an adult dance class I can find. And I Googled and our Havens Heels came up.
Is that actually how you found
Yes. I did like a whole bunch of creeping, obviously, because I was like, is this for me? I've never done heels dancing. Like, this is very different from like the ballet that I was used to. And I came out to the first class in, I believe it was in Stony Creek.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even signed up for the program. I was just coming to do a drop-in, and then I just like never left.
Yeah, I actually remember your first class because I remember going and being like, is this your Instagram name? And it was so different that I was like, I don't know. But I think we had spoke maybe before on Instagram, like you had asked a question maybe.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what like level, because it's always hard. Like you've taken so much time off, and then like completely different genres of dance. So I was like, I have a dance background, but it doesn't always translate 100%. Like, just wasn't sure where I fit. But I'm glad I started like in the beginners class just to kind of get a feel of how it was and like what exactly we were doing.
Yeah.
Because like I'd never taken a heels class and I had no idea really what that meant.
Yeah, I know. I always really like to tell people to start in the beginner class, mostly so you understand what the program is like, because people sometimes will come in and do what you did and be like, I'm just gonna start in beginner and work my way up, versus some people that are like, I fucking got this, I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then they go in intermediate and it's like very, very overwhelming, it's not fun, and it sucks the joy out of it a little bit.
Yes.
So, but I do remember your first class.
And I was very lucky that I had like, I think I got spoiled off the bat that I got a lot of very good girls in my class that have stayed.
You guys are your own little cult.
Yeah. Thank God.
I do feel like with each session that it grows. There's like one person.
I was actually
thinking
thinking that because I was like, what happens when we get like full quote unquote? Because like every session we seem to gain a couple that like become part of our like core group. So like what happens when we?
And then you guys always want to sign up together.
Yes.
But that's how now we have 15 people in a class.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah. It actually is very, very cool. So what do you find to be your role in the dance community? And this could be anything from like, my role is that I'm a forever student, because that's for me what I consider myself. But it could also be like, I'm a cheerleader,
Yeah, so I think I'm like you, that I am a forever student.
Yeah.
I definitely like to help people that are struggling. Like I think last intake we had a very difficult number, so we did run a lot of rehearsals.
Which number?
Everyone struggled with Heartbreaker for some reason.
Yeah.
I loved Heartbreaker, honestly.
Yes.
Like I clicked in my head for some reason and I just had it. But I think a lot of our class was struggling a little bit with that number. Just the hips. Anyway, so like I took on a little bit more of like, I would not qualify myself as a teacher in heels by any means, but more of like the like, I guess, assisting the teacher kind of role. I do find like with every person in our class, I feel like I fill a different role, which is what I love. Like some people, I'm like the hype woman, and all I do is like cheer them on and tell them how amazing they are. And then other people, it's like you're their confidant, like they're having a bad day. They come to you and tell you about it. Other sometimes I'm a videographer, which like I never knew I was going to be again.
So true.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what I love. It's like you become like so many different things to so many different people. But like you, I am a forever student, and I think even the best dancer in the world can always take classes and like learn something.
Totally.
So
yeah. The most cliche tattoo that I have is this one here that says I am still learning, and I got it like knowing that it was like, haha, everyone's got a stupid tattoo, but it's honestly the best conversation piece, and is the most literal tattoo I think that I have, because you could pay for all the schooling in the world and there's still more to learn, and I think that's kind of what's cool about it.
I actually had this conversation with one of the girls the other day. Like every class I go to, I learn something from someone, and it's not always the teacher. Like
for sure.
Like there's girls in the program that I look at, I'm like, oh my god, I love that they do this. I love that they do this, and I'm always like trying to adopt like what I like in other dancers.
Yes, I do the same thing. Any class that I go to, you do, and I think that's why it's important to watch other dancers and, like, when you're doing the different groups and whatnot, because you can see like, oh my god, I love the way like Alexa did this. And like, bro,
we're filming here.
Honestly, wheeling the garbage by as we go.
No, but I love that, and like obviously like I just love like learning from teachers too, because like every teacher has a different technique, and
so different.
It's just so fun, and I love each teacher for different reasons.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is.
It's cool to see how different everyone actually teaches. It's also cool to see how different people pick up from different instructors. You're like, it counts girly, it noises, of words.
And it just like feels like even though it's all the same type of dance, I feel like every class I go to, it's not the same ever. There's like, I never walk in and I'm like, oh, I'm bored, we're doing this again. Like that's never happened to me.
Good.
The whole time I've been here. I love that you offer like other classes. Like I just started the jazz one. Like I haven't taken jazz in a long time.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a refresher for me, but it's just like fun. You never get bored. I've never been bored in a dance class in my life. So
that's so good.
I love it. I've never found another community outside of the dance world that girls get so close so quickly. And I just think it's like the constant, every week you know you're coming together with those people, and you have to trust them to like learn the dance and not, you know, let everybody down, and you bring the same, and it's just a very quick way to like become friends with each other. And I think like you're so vulnerable in the studio too, so you're sharing. Well, at least I feel that way. I know there's people that like come in super confident, but
I'm not one of those people.
But you always look it. Like I've never seen you not look confident, to be honest.
Thank you so much. It's an act.
See, like,
I have a lot of different alter egos.
See me, I'm like always visibly, like you can tell when I'm nervous because I like do my shimmy. But
fair.
It's my nervous dance. But yeah, like I just find like being that vulnerable with other people and doing like moves I would never do, and like day to day.
Yeah, I actually feel like I have so many things in response to that. One of them is the fact of like, I agree with what you're saying, that it brings women together so quickly if you're at a good studio. Also, what you just said about like being nervous and being vulnerable in the studio, it is crazy to me because never in my life have I given any of my like romantic partners a striptease, a lap dance, a chair dance. Never.
Heels dance is not for the men, sorry.
No, it is for ourselves.
We
do
girls.
That in studio. That is just for us, because the thought of doing it at home, I'm like, what? Absolutely no.
I actually saw something randomly on Instagram the other day that I never like related with more. It was like making reference to like some of the outfits we wear to like dance programs. And it was like, oh, they dance so sexy for attention. And then it was like, absolutely not. We dress sexy for the girls and for ourselves. Like,
yes, 100%.
Like it's not, I don't post anything sexy on Instagram to try and get likes. Absolutely not. It's like, I hope the girls think I'm cute. I hope they like this.
Oh, that is so true. It is so, man.
Could care less.
This is like, at the end of the day, to me, I've had like a midlife crisis over this. Like Justin has had to pick me up off my living room floor crying because I was like, I just don't know what to do. And essentially it was because it was like, why do people post on social media? Well, okay, wait a minute. I don't know how generic or bold I should make this statement, but I will say 10 times out of 10, it is to get the attention of something or someone. Even posting, and this is going to be very controversial, you posting a dance video on your Instagram that is private, no one can see it unless you allow them to.
Right.
Why do you post the video?
I like to like show where I'm at in certain stages of my life. There's nothing better than looking back like to my Instagram from like 3 years ago and being like, wow, look where I was at. Look what I was looking at. Like this was me then. And like there's nothing more, I can't embody myself more than when I'm like dancing, quite honestly. Like that is me. And so I post it because I'm like, I want people to see how happy this makes me. Like, I want to show people that this is like the real authentic me. Like, yeah, when I work 9 to 5, that's also me, I guess, but that's not like where my heart lies. Like,
Right.
and I don't think there's a better way to show people like my insides is than my dance videos. Like, I know, and people may not interpret it as that when I post it. They're probably like, not like, oh, this is Allie, like being vulnerable. This is her showing what she truly likes to do. But I'm like, for even the 3 people that get it, I'm like, that's fine. That's enough for me.
Interesting take, because I've had this conversation with a few people now, and they all end up like, I don't know why I post. And that was a really good answer. Why do you want to show other people?
I like my big goal, my motivation in life for everything is just to like help people and be there for people. And dance has helped me personally through so much that like if I can convince one person to take a dance class, I'm like, that's a win for me. Like, even though like I have no interest in whether you get 50 new students, like I mean, I love you and I hope you do get thousands of students from my posts, but that's not why I'm doing it. I just like think like it's such a healthy outlet and I just want more people. Like, I've had so many girlfriends that are not in the dance world be like, oh, you're so brave, like how do you do it? I'm like, there's no like, it's fun. Like I don't think about being brave when I'm doing it. I just am like, have fun, and if it looks good, it looks good. But yeah, so I like more posts because I hope that it encourages other people to get involved in like the dance community that's been like amazing to me my whole life.
Okay, so I guess the way that you would flip the script, and this is literally me being devil's advocate
That's
here.
Fine. You do it.
Is that you are posting to get the attention of other people in order to help them to then take a dance class.
Sure.
Got you.
I've never thought of it quite like that.
It's a very
like,
twisted way to think.
Yeah.
But it's because in the past I've had issues with a previous partner, essentially like he was just very controlling, trying to control a lot of stuff. And it like seeped into social media, and it was like, why do I post at all? And it was a whole big thing. So I more recently had a huge breakdown because I was like, I don't understand. And that's part of why I deleted my Instagram, because I was like, to be honest, I don't even really know what I want to do.
Yeah.
As a dancer, if you want to make it anywhere, you kind of got to have social media as like your portfolio.
Right, for sure.
But I was like, I post more than just dance. Like, same with you. I post the stuff that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, hope that other people see it and they're like, oh, like I want to try that too, because I might enjoy that experience. But I post like my family because I'm proud of them. So you end up posting things that you're proud of.
Yeah, I think also like like I'm sure we'll get into it more, but going through like the last year was very difficult for me, challenging for me medically. I went through a lot. Previously, I would just like keep everything contained, and then I found out that there was like a ton of people like me that were going through similar things to me and wanted to talk about it but didn't know who to talk to or like who they could go to. So I find that if I share what I'm going through per se with people, that it might help someone else go through it.
Yeah. I feel like you also do it in a very genuine way, because I feel like it's so hard to tell on social media what people are posting because they actually want to be helpful, or what's like the, what do you call it?
Like clout chasing or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, what's the word? Oh, this is going to bother me. I keep thinking siren calling, but it's not.
Siren calling. That's
that's not what it is.
Virtue signaling.
Thank you.
Like
Virtue signaling.
Coming.
Yes. Siren calling. What am I doing? Yeah. To me, it's really hard to differentiate what's virtue signaling on social media versus what people actually genuinely want to do and what they want to help with.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to tell. And I feel like the way that you go about things, the way that you go about life, is a very genuine way.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate a lot. I feel like that's why we clicked really well.
Yes.
Because it was just, you were also very like upfront, which I appreciate.
I feel like sometimes I'm a little too open, but
honestly, I love it.
I think my people understand it, and then the people that aren't my people are always like, what? But
yes, a bit thrown.
I'm like, I don't.
And the most surface level example of that I can think of is that I do believe growing up in dance, they literally all said, here's a giant room for you all to get naked in and change in front of each other. Hundreds of other people that you don't know enjoy.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, like you had to literally change costumes and everything in front of people. And sometimes your moms are like holding up a sheet or like whatever. And you're like, I don't have time. I
just let me change.
Like,
there's no time for modesty in dance.
Yeah, which is why like even coming to the studio, although I have like a security camera, people are like, can I just get dressed here? You're like, yeah, I have 2 bathrooms. You can totally go and do that. But everyone's just very comfortable. And I do feel like being in the studio, or perhaps it's just like this community in general, because everyone's so open, that I feel like my view of what's appropriate and what's not is skewed.
Yes.
I have no problem
Yes.
walking out the door in my like fishnets and booty shorts because we just finished our heels class or whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're walking on the street and people are like, what? What
I
is she
always laugh
wearing?
because like nothing is more apparent than like when a dancer like tries to integrate into like society, and like I find I'm so touchy feely and I
Yeah.
don't mean to be. So then when I go out in the real world, I'm like, let's hug, and people are like, oh.
Yeah, so people are
This
not
is invasive.
huggers. Yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh, that's not invasive. Like I just did the splits on top of someone else. Like that's invasive.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I completely agree.
I find like dance does skew your like body boundaries with people.
Okay, so we kind of just touched on it. So then what do you feel, I guess, is your like emotional connection when you're dancing?
Ugh. It's like, oh my
Wow.
So like dance, like I say, is like literally like my joy. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I could like describe joy, I would just like dance. Like that's it for me. And like
Mm-hmm.
not every dance is like super cheery. Like I've done like lyrical numbers that are supposed to be like sad and
Yeah.
whatever. There is no other way for me. Like dance is joy. Like that's
Yeah.
what it is. And I am one of those people that I could have the worst day and I walk into that studio and it's gone. Like
Yeah.
this studio brings me peace. I know it's my safe space. Like nothing for that hour, 2 hours that you're in class. Like that's it. That's all you focus on is class. And when I dance, like the world literally goes silent. Like all those things like you're stressing about, they're gone.
Yeah.
So
I agree. It's like a big release. Like, 'cause like
Yeah.
you said, growing up in dancing in the studio, you had to do like the contemporary numbers,
Oh,
the lyrical ones, the true like storytelling pieces
Yes.
where it's like the audience needs to understand it. It's not like
Yeah. You're not like
hip-hop
cheery.
always.
Like
Yeah. And I remember when my cat Moose died,
Yeah.
one of my good friends texted me and was like, create a routine, because there was like a song that I always listen to when I'm sad and I need to like force myself to cry about
Yeah.
him. The cat, not a boy.
Screw boys.
But yeah, but my girlfriend texted me and she was like, make a dance, and it was just like such a huge emotional release.
Right. Yeah.
Even though my cat obviously probably would have like ate me had I died in front of him.
Yeah.
But
Cats are
it's,
like
it's
that.
just that like, I don't know a better word than release that allows everything to be like, okay.
I feel like
and
it's
move
like
your body.
only other dancers understand. Like
Yeah. Last summer, I was teaching a bachelorette party, and it was for somebody that I went to school with. They were a few years older than me. So I knew pretty much everyone that was at this bachelorette party because we all went to school together.
Yeah.
And I messaged somebody after. I'm trying to say this essentially without like giving away names or anything.
Yeah.
But I messaged somebody after and I said, what did you think? Like, how did the class go? Essentially, like, how did I do? Because
Yeah.
it was weird teaching people, one, that I went to school with.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them.
They're kind of your peers, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And they responded back and they said, it was great. Like, it was really cool to see me in my element. And that actually one of the other women that were there hadn't taken, like, she actually also grew up doing Highland dancing, which
Oh,
is
really?
the reason why I know about
Yeah.
it. And she said that she hasn't stepped foot in a studio and like fully looked at herself in so long that she found it so difficult to actually enjoy the class because all she could think about was, is that actually what I look
Yeah.
like? And it put a new perspective for me to be like, okay, anyone that either grew up dancing and or just has any sort of self-doubt or confidence issues, which 9 times out of 10
I was
people
like,
do nowadays.
most people
For
in
sure.
general.
When they come to the studio, I now keep that in the back of my mind to be like, what are you thinking about? Because if you are tearing yourself apart, I'm not doing my job well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's so hard, but that has resonated with me to be like, wow, I truly just thought people would come in here because it was like a bucket list thing or like
Yeah.
they wanted to have a good time. I didn't always realize what was going on for people in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much because it is bewildering to me that like anybody could look at themselves in the mirror and not see a single thing that they like.
But I think the dance though, this is like, believe me, I love dance, but I think there also is like a negative side, especially like, I think it's changing now. There was definitely like a stereotype of what a dancer should look like. But I find like that's where I rely on the teachers. Like, you guys are so good here that, yeah, maybe I come in and look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I'm not looking my greatest today.
Yeah.
But 5 minutes in, I'm like, I forgot, it's gone.
Yes.
Like, I've moved on to something else. You've made me laugh. You've made me feel silly. You made me feel good. You like, so I think that's where you guys like, and this studio is just amazing. Everybody's here. No one cares what you look like. No one cares what you're wearing. Like,
Yeah.
show up. look like a bum. Don't dress up to the
Yes.
nines. Like no one cares.
Yeah, truly. Everyone's like living their own element.
Yeah.
There are some days that like students will come in or I'll come in. I said last night when I was teaching, I haven't shaved my body in I don't know how long. And I was like, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I started teaching, it was like, no
Yeah.
one cares
No one
about
cares.
the hair on my legs.
No one will remember 2 minutes from now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's so true. Do you want some of your drink? You can. I've been sipping as we go. Yeah, I feel like we kind of just touched on like what role do you think dance plays in building self-confidence?
I, without dance, would have been a very different kid. Like,
Yeah.
and even like nowadays, like, so when I was a kid, I was like, although I was very high energy, I was super shy and quiet. I know you wouldn't believe that because
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
would
quiet in
not.
this. As a kid,
Not
I
even
was
a little bit.
very quiet. Like I had no confidence when I was little, and then I think as just as I like progressed in dancing, I kind of found my confidence and found my thing, like what I was good at and what made me feel good and whatever. And then, like I said, I had a child, and you kind of lose yourself. A lot of people lose themselves when they have a child, and I just was like, how do I find myself? And I knew like dance was the quickest way for me to figure out who I was. So mat leave was definitely hard.
Yeah.
I was just starting to kind of work back my body into the old me per se. So it was almost like finding my self-confidence again, because I come in the studio, I'm like, okay, I don't look the same, but I can still do the same stuff that I did before.
Yeah.
I can still feel on the inside great about doing it.
Yeah.
And then like the more you feel good on the inside, the more you like start to get your confidence back and feel great on the outside too. And
Right now though, you're wearing like booty
blue
shorts.
shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still love my baggy t-shirts, but
Oh yeah, you gotta go for comfort every once in a while.
yeah, but
No.
it's like totally helped me find my confidence again, and I think that's like why I love the studio and everything. So
Yeah. I feel like every single session, I will do the first class, I'll do my makeup, and then after that I'm like,
like, but I'll come in like after work and I don't care. Like it's not
yeah.
like, I don't know.
Circling back to what you were saying before, that there's just so many different women here. Literally nobody cares what you do, what you look like. As long as you're kind, people are like, cool, hang with us.
I find like the women, like they don't care what you look
No.
like. They don't care how much money you make. They don't care. Like none of
Yeah.
it matters. Like everyone's jobs and all that stuff is like so the least exciting thing about them I find in the studio.
Yeah.
Like it's just
I
so
feel
much.
like people are like, you got any pets? And that's when they're like,
We're
oh
big-
yeah.
We're big pet people in here. I love.
People are always like, you got some cats?
many cats though. Yeah, but I don't know. I love that.
When we like sit at the beginning of the session, we all like say one fun thing about
Oh,
yourself.
I hate that part. P.S.
I know. Everyone's like, oh, they don't want to do it anymore.
I just think I'm so not exciting, but
I know, but there's got to be more to it. And this is kind of not super relevant to dance.
Yeah.
But I don't want a title about you. I want to know a fun fact. But then when you're like asked and put on the spot, what's a fun fact? You're like, I don't know. But sometimes when I'm driving, I like remind myself that I can do this. And I always think that that's like kind of fun.
that's the best. I love
I
that
can-
that's your fun fact. I
Yeah.
can make this face.
Because sometimes I can do it with both, which is so stupid. But I'm like, that's kind of a fun fact. Or like, do you remember when you were in school and you would, this was like maybe grade 1, 2, 3, and you'd be like, I'm double jointed. And
Oh,
you would
yeah.
like do something cool. Or like
Yeah.
my mom can bend her thumb to her wrist. Yeah. So then you're like, oh, like that's kind of a fun thing.
I guess. But
Yeah.
I always find it hard to be like, okay, why am I fun?
I know.
But so I always find that interesting and definitely something like I'm like working on.
Yeah.
Is like I'm not very good at talking about myself, so that's interesting.
And yet here you are.
And here I am. Yeah.
Has dance ever helped you through a difficult time in your life?
When hasn't it? When I was thinking about this question, I thought like, oh, I could probably give you 100 examples.
Yeah.
But I think the most recent one, which like you're very much aware of, I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people are aware, but there's probably lots of people that aren't. But I guess it would have been over a year now. A year and a half ago, I started to get very ill randomly. I lost my hearing in my one ear, and I was like in a lot of pain and really bad headaches. And long story short, after going to the hospital a million times trying to figure out what was wrong with me,
Yeah.
they finally found out I had a spinal leak. So my spinal column, they didn't know where, but they knew there was a hole somewhere. So my spinal fluid was actually leaking out of my spine.
That is crazy.
It is wild to think about.
Yeah.
I was very lucky that I actually could still dance through it. Most people with that condition are like bedridden, so
Yeah.
they don't know why I still functioned as well as I did. It was super hard because you start to like, there's so much fear, obviously, because you're like, what's happening to me? Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, will this be my life forever? Am I ever going to get better? And there's like lots of testing that's like never super comfortable and all that stuff.
It's also never ending.
Oh yeah, and like it's like appointment after appointment, and it just becomes like it can become very depressing and overwhelming very quickly.
Yeah.
The best thing I think for me was that I still could dance through this, and I knew like once a week I had this like group that held me accountable and made sure I like didn't stay in bed every day like or hide from it and be depressed. I knew at least one time a week I was going to go and have a good time, and even if I was not, dancing at my best, I was still there showing up.
Yeah.
And it was nice to think that people still needed me or relied on me even though I was like not feeling the best. That made me happy. And then like again, you come and you forget about it for a couple hours. Even after like I started to get the procedures done to try and repair it.
Yeah.
And they didn't really want me dancing. I still came, which I was like very thankful that you let me still come to class even though I wasn't dancing.
Oh my God, yeah.
And though I think it was 2 different sessions that I couldn't dance in. Alice in Wonderland and the Dancing Through the Decades.
Yeah.
So I still came out every week to class even though I wasn't dancing, and it was just
hung out with us.
It felt good to just get out and still feel like a human, and and everyone was happy to see me, so it's like a little bit of a confidence booster when you're not feeling your best too.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it definitely kept me in a better headspace than I would have been had I had nothing. Also, like keeping some fitness was also like, I fully give it credit for how quickly I bounced back from surgeries, that I didn't allow myself to like lose too much muscle and all that stuff. And you guys were great and let me, like, if I wasn't up to doing certain moves, you guys were cool, and you're still that way. Like I know I'm past the worst of it and I'm just getting better, but it's nice that you don't feel bad when you're like, okay, I need to take 20 minutes, but I'll be back. Like, I'll be back. And
yes, yeah.
So it definitely, like, I just think that accountability helped me survive that 1.5 years from hell.
Yeah. It was a long time for you. And I know that you're still like recovering on the tail end of it. I think the mental recovery is going to take longer than the physical recovery.
Way harder. Yeah. And that was another thing I actually was thinking about, is they don't know what caused it. Like, it's not like I fell and that's what caused it. For me, it was spontaneous. They have no idea.
Yeah.
So they couldn't say, okay, this caused it, don't do that, or you should avoid this because that might cause it down the road. So I made it my goal and priority to get back to dance. And that first class, like, you probably don't even realize, that first class was so tough on me mentally. Like, I came in and I was terrified. I was like, well, what if I bend this way and I'm back to square one? Or what if I like do this one move and we're done again for another year? So there's communities online, which, like, because it's such a rare thing, I had like flat out multiple people be like, give up, you're never going to dance again, you're never going to be in the gym again. Like, this is your life and you have to be careful and be fearful for the rest of your life that this might happen again.
It's a bold statement for people to make.
Exactly. And I was like, you don't know me, like, that's not, like, just watch me. And like, it's funny because like the second I finished that session, again, you would have no idea, I went online and like shared it in the spinal community, and I was like, this is me, this many weeks post-op, I just finished my first dance session, 12 weeks, and performed on stage. And I was like, for those people that said I'd never dance again, like, up yours.
Yeah.
I did it. Like,
yeah, I would have you hid that so well.
Yeah, and like so many people actually messaged me privately, were like, thank you. Like, because they're like, everybody here is like so fearful, so there's so much fear mongering that like, they're like, well, I'll never get any quality of life back, or I'll never be able to, go running ever again. And they're like, thank you for showing me like it's possible and you did it safely and there's been no repercussions. And so like dance just like literally saved me last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, and posting online on social
media
does
and like
help.
Exactly. And that wasn't like, I wasn't being like, oh, look at me, I mean, I was trying to again tell people to like go F yourself, like I did it, but it was more because I was like, I want other people to know like they can do it.
Yeah, like this is actually possible.
Yeah, like don't listen to these people saying you're never gonna do anything again. Just like go do it. Like,
that's wild.
Do it safely, but do it. Like,
brutal. I would have never known. And you say that I come in the studio and then I hide it really well.
You do. I've never seen you look sad. Honest to God, though, I tell people that's a dance thing. Because you could be the saddest you've ever been in your whole life, and you go on that stage and you put on the smile or whatever that dance number needs, and like you just do it. Like, you tough it out. You may have had the worst day, but
Okay, last two. We'll do the last two questions.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone who might be hesitant about starting? The question says heels dance, but we'll just do dance in general.
Just do it. Like, that's
just do it. Nike,
just
baby,
do it.
sponsor us.
Do it. Hashtag sponsor my life. I'm an athlete. Hashtag athlete. No, like honestly, I try to be aware that not everyone feels comfortable like I do in a dance studio. I try to like put myself in their mindset, and I'm like, I get it. You come in, you're anxious. Like we're all anxious. My first class when I came back, I was anxious. Like everyone gets the nervous, like especially if you've never tried dance before. But just come, just show up, because once you're here, you're good. You're good, baby. Like the hardest part is walking through the door.
No, the hardest part is always finding parking.
Oh, well, yeah. After that, the hardest part is getting through the door.
Yes.
And once you're through the door, like you start to realize, I find like even girls I don't know, I'm like, hi, like trying to make them feel comfortable. Like, and I feel like we're all like that here.
Yeah.
So like you'll show up, you'll find a buddy. Like believe me, you'll find somebody.
Yes, or a buddy will find
you. Yeah,
for
you
sure.
may not want a buddy, but they'll find you. I feel like that's how Lauren feels when I'm around.
Really?
Well, I feel like Lauren's like, she just like came and adopted me, and I didn't really want her, but I mean, I guess we're okay.
I love her so much.
I do too.
She's so quiet and so soft-spoken.
But then she hits you with like and you're like, oh my God, you're so funny.
She's so funny.
So funny.
Yeah, she's like the low-key, quiet, hilarious.
But yeah, so I feel like just show up, try it. Even if you feel stupid, no one cares. Again, like no one cares. My favorite thing is when you're, my favorite and least favorite thing you always say is like choose your own adventure.
Oh yeah.
Because like I'm always like, now what does that mean? What is my adventure? Who am I? What would I do here? Like, because I love when I'm like, oh, Marissa says do this, it's easy. But then when you're like choose your own adventure, like.
Yes. Then you're like, oh my God, what is my adventure?
Yeah, what do I like to do?
And
that's when I really like start watching other girls to be like, okay, what do they do that I like?
Yeah, and that's kind of how you build things for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you might take a movement from Alexa and then a movement from Lauren, and you go, there's one, there's two, and then a third one just happens naturally. And you're like, oh, like that one just came from me. And you just get inspired by other people.
And even like, what does Leia do when she goes on the floor? And like, I'm like, okay, I can do that. Or like, look at Brittany's attitude when she's doing like those moves.
The attitude.
Oh, I love her attitude.
Yeah.
And like Darcy's always has this like vibe about her. Like,
I know.
She just has
she's
this
cool.
air.
She's literally
the coolest person I know.
Yeah, like truly, I really actually think Darcy's like one of the coolest people I know.
She's one of my favorite humans.
Yeah,
ever.
but she would never go to anyone and be like, snub them.
No.
She would be like, let's do the crazy stuff that you want to do too.
Yeah, she's the best.
So down for anything.
I know we went on a big tangent, but I said all that to say, like, if you didn't never dance a step in your life, you can come in here and you can do it. Like,
yes, I forgot what the question was even. I was
like,
I don't remember.
What would you tell someone who's coming to class?
Yeah. Anyone
like
who's never tried it that wants to experience it.
Anybody.
Yeah.
And the high heels, I wouldn't let, like, that made me nervous at first. I've never danced in high heels, but you can start low or you can start barefoot.
Yes, that's what I tell people too. They'll send me an email and they're like, how high should the heel be? I'm like, man, you could show up in sneakers.
Yeah.
You can go barefoot. Like, start in your comfort zone. Yeah. Because at least that gets you started. Because from there, you will gravitate from other people's energy and you will grow from there. Yeah. It's just, you got to do it in steps. And if you approach it to be like, I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to wear my sneakers.
Yeah.
I'm now just going to put on shorts.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna now wear a bra.
Yeah.
I'm now naked and here I am. Like,
I love seeing that because there's definitely people that I've started with that were way more conservative and now they show up in like booty shorts and I'm like, yes. But yeah, dance is for everyone. Show up.
It really is. It's very
Marissa's very nice. She'll keep you safe.
Everyone's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, final one, and then we're gonna play a game.
Uh-oh.
What's one thing that you wish people understood about the power of dance? I feel like that was kind of hard.
There's so much. Like, this is such a hard question.
Yeah,
because
what's one thing, what would I answer? What's one thing that you wish people understood about the power of dance?
I feel like dance is it's everything. Like, it's musicality, it's fitness, it's, to a degree, there's science involved with, like, gravity and, like, weight distribution and stuff like that.
True.
Like, everything. Like, dance is life lessons. Like, you fall down on your ass and make a fool of yourself. You come back next week and you try again. Like, dance, like I said, has been around since like day one. Like thousands of years ago, they used to use dance to tell stories, and like dance brought people together. They'd have like festivals where everyone danced. So like,
that was you thought about that way more than I did.
I just feel like dance is like everything. It brings people together, brings community. It helps you live a healthy lifestyle. Mentally, it helps you because you come in and
like you can literally take that answer as the very basic, like it keeps you in shape, it helps keep you in shape. It can help you mentally, helps you physically, whatever the case may be, and you could take it to like the broader spectrum of like it provides you the community that you probably didn't even know you were looking for.
Yeah.
It provides you the friendships that are hard as hell to make as an adult.
For sure.
It provides you things externally as much as it does internally.
It gives you an outlet to express yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I really like that answer.
I try.
That was good.
And it's joy. It's pure joy dance.
It's honestly just fun. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's just what we're here to do on this planet, is have fun before we die.
100%.
Not to get morbid about
I
it.
definitely have thought about that. Like, there's more to life than just waking up, going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids, making dinner.
Find the pockets that give you happiness, because those are the ones that are going to set your soul on fire.
So for me, I looked at that lifestyle and was like, although dance is my love, like I would love to just do dance stuff for my whole life. I just didn't think it was attainable. So then I look at like someone like you that's made it work, and I'm like, she's found the golden ticket. Like, she's got the key to happiness in life.
Yeah.
But you never know. Like, every person you talk to, you think they have the best life ever, and then you talk to them and they're like, nah.
Yeah. There's always, it's that grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I am not grateful. I feel very lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with how hard I have worked to be here. But I still have that mindset of like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to it. Obviously, because running your own business,
it's rough, I'm sure.
You like never take vacation.
No.
I went away for my wedding and I was still answering work emails. But part of me is
silly.
like, it still just like brings me joy.
Yes.
So it's a really fine line to walk. And I think, it's just, I'm trying to focus now more on like, where are the pockets of happiness that I can live in? Because those are the ones I'm going to ride with. I also feel very lucky that I don't feel like I'm stuck in the like quote unquote rat race of life. It's tough. And like you add on, you got to work out, you got to drink your water, you got to care for your family, you got pets, you have friendships, you got all the hats you have to wear.
And only so many minutes in a day, and you're trying to fit it all in.
Yeah, and that's coming from someone who, like, for the longest time when I was working like 3 jobs, I get up at 3:30.
Yeah.
Lived a whole life before 4:30. Like, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then you still have to, you go to the studio, and I was still revved up for the studio.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I think, just as important to sink the resources into yourself as it is of what you sink into other people. Otherwise, you're just depleted and you hate your life. And
yeah, for sure.
That's where people are depressed.
Miserable.
And miserable.
Yeah. But you've made it work, so.
Yeah. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful. I feel lucky that I've met the cool people that I've been able to meet, and like we can have these conversations. And I love hearing everyone's story. I love talking.
I'm very proud of you and all you've done. I know that I've only known you for like, 2 years, but I feel like I've known you a lot longer because of how close everybody gets. But
So you ready for some tongue twisters?
Oh, God.
Okay. We're going to start easy.
Okay. Oh, better be very easy.
We're going to do the most expected tongue twister.
Oh, no. Seashell.
Yeah. She sells seashells by the seashore. My lisp is going to come out hard.
I don't have a lisp.
I have a very minor one. It's okay. Okay, so she sells seashells by the seashore. Now say it again.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Again.
Is that right? No,
I think so.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Faster.
Okay. She sells seashells by the seashore.
Oh, that was actually really good. See? As soon as I started doing these, my like tongue goes numb and I can't feel my lips.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why. Willie's really wary.
Willie's really. Willie's really weary? Is that what it is?
Yes. I don't like words that sound like you're saying them wrong. What's that one word? I think it's a vegetable. Oh no, rule.
Rule or rural?
What? You said the same thing twice.
No, rural. I was saying that very
rural.
Very like accented.
Yeah,
so you can hear
like
the difference.
the
yeah,
area.
I thought that. I wasn't sure if you were saying that or rule.
No, rule.
Rural.
Yeah, I don't like that word. It sounds like you're saying it wrong always.
Maybe. Never thought about it.
I started a list on my phone of things that I don't like to say. Okay, let's do a couple more. Fred, Ted bread.
What? Fred, no.
Fred, Ted bread. Wait, there's more.
One.
And Ted fed Fred bread.
Oh my God.
So Fred.
You said Fred.
Fred fed Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread. Okay, wait.
So good at this. Not.
Okay, wait, you go.
Fred fed Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread.
Yes.
I sound like a robot that's like, Fed.
Fred. No. Fred fed Ted bread, and Ted fed Fred bread.
There you did it.
The second half is easier to say.
Yes, I find once you're through the Fred part, it's like.
Fred fed Ted bread, and
Ted bread. Fred bed.
Okay, my mouth hurts now a little bit.
I feel like I've been smiling this whole time, so my cheeks are like.
Sore? Mine are also a little sore. That was good.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing else?
I think that's everything. Anything else you want to add to it?
Come take a class. It's the best. You'll never leave. Ever. Poor Marissa is stuck with all of us.
Someone mentioned recently, they're like, I wonder if people come and see us as a little bit culty. And I was like, I kind of like
But
that.
like a good cult.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw on Facebook yesterday, I was looking for Galentine's Day events. Ooh. There is a blood rave going on.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But I read the description, and you have to wear either black or white.
Okay.
And you can either come with blood pre-done on you, or they have a like blood sacrifice area where you can cover yourself in blood.
Where are we getting the blood?
I don't know. It didn't say. But this is one of those things that I have no interest in joining that long term, but I would go to that
just to see,
just to say that I went and like meet the kind of people that go there. Because they probably have the same viewpoint about their community that we do about ours.
Probably.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I'll try anything once.
I know. If it wasn't on a Friday and I wasn't teaching, I would totally go. But it's next Friday.
Oh, too bad. Maybe I'll go for you.
Please do.
I won't be going by myself.
Bring Darcy.
Yeah,
she's
Darcy
cool.
would be down. She'd be like, sure, I'll go roll in blood.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
I know. I have the link. I can give it to you if you want.
Okay, maybe I'll tee up Darcy for next week.
I'm going to post it in our group chat. All right. Thanks so much. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.